Hello and welcome. I'm the engineer and developer for PixelFizz, and today we're going to do a tutorial on using FacePunch and netcode for game objects to create Steam lobbies and connect players. With this scene, I just have a 3D project, but it doesn't make a difference on what core you make other than mobile. This won't work unless it detects Steam in the background. So I have a multi-menu that has two buttons, create host and join. The join's not necessary, we won't be using that. Next, we're going to need netcode for game objects. We need to get out the package manager, game objects, install, awesome. So with that in here, be able to go ahead, create an empty, let's call it the network manager component, and let's look for the network manager script. Go ahead and add that. You're gonna get all of this stuff. Biggest thing we'll be looking for later is the transport. And what the transport is the FacePunch Steamworks. So we need to get that in the project as well. And we can do that with the package manager, and we'll be doing a get URL. All right, so one thing you have to know with adding the get URL, make sure you actually have Git installed. If you don't, go to its website, just get it installed. If you try and use this without it on the machine running, you'll get an error saying it can't find it. So I'll have a link down in the description. Just go ahead and click on that. Take you to this transport page, and this is the Unity technologies for different transports. And this is the Facebook transport. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna copy this link right here. Go into Unity, get URL, we'll paste it in, and then we'll take this last word, init, just put cool. So now we can go into our network manager. We should see FacePunch transport. Use that, and it's going to add this little script for our Steam app ID. It's going to be at 480. If you don't have a Steam ID, which you would get one from actually submitting a game onto Steam, they'll give you a unique ID, and you can plug that in here later. If you don't, just keep it at 480. Okay, let's start off by making a script. Make a folder for my scripts. Side C#, and we'll just call this the game network manager. We'll just throw that on the network manager. We can open that up. Alright, so let's get rid of these. We'll be using Unity, netcode, and we'll also be using Steamworks and steamworks.data. We'll also be using the FacePunch Steamworks. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the start in the update class for now. We're going to add in a public static, and I just like to call these the instance, and we'll do a get private set. We'll also do a private Facebook transport, and we'll just call it transport for our reference. Do both of these equal to null. We'll also create a lobby, and we'll make that current lobby, and we'll do it this way as a get private set, so we can also set it to null. Okay, and this one's kind of optional, I think. You can just do a ulong and set the host ID public. This is just handy, I think, for bigger projects. So on the awake, we'll check if the instance isn't there, we'll make it this, and then if it isn't, just destroy it. We don't want two of these in our scene. Alright, so on our start method, we want to get the transport, which is the Facebook transport. There we go. Okay, so now we're gonna start making our callbacks. It's gonna be Steam matchmaking, And then all of these are part of the FacePunch API. So on lobby created, we'll have an on lobby entered, and I'll explain what these do a little bit later. All these callbacks that we're making have to do with the FacePunch API. So Steamworks has their own stuff, and FacePunch is kind of a C# wrapper for Steamworks to make it a little bit easier to work in Unity, if my understanding is correct. All of these callbacks are what's going to be triggering when Steam sends us stuff. So when we interact with the Steam network, this is what we're going to get in return. So some of these are pretty obvious just by the name. On lobby member join and leave, those are only going to trigger on the host. On lobby invite, when you get an invite from a friend. On lobby game created, that one's pretty obvious. The next one is going to be the Steam friends, and then on game lobby join request, that's going to be when they join in on you or they accept your invite. So we're going to do an on destroy, and we're going to copy paste this whole section, throw it in here. We're going to change all the pluses to minuses, and this will turn off all the callbacks when this script or this instance or game object gets destroyed. So I like to change all these lobbies to underscore lobby, and I'm just going to go through here and change all the Steam IDs to underscore Steam IDs. I'm going to do that on the rest of these callbacks. And then for the on lobby game created, the first uint is going to be an IP, and the ushort is going to be the port. Then I'm going to get rid of all these throw exceptions. I don't need any of this stuff in here. Okay, so this first one, when you accept the invite or you join in on a friend, I'm just going to label that so I can keep track of it. Go ahead and make this one an async. And we'll do a room enter. Lobby joined lobby. It's going to be equal to await underscore lobby dot join. So we're waiting for that to come back from Steam. And then if it is not equal to room success, we'll just throw a debug log in there. There we go. And if it does go through, we're going to make the current lobby equal to what we got back from Steam. And then we'll just throw another debug log in there. It's handy to have these as often as you can, just for troubleshooting purposes later. You can see where it falls apart. On the game lobby created, we'll throw one in there. This kind of populates at the same time when you start the host, or when you start an actual lobby. This pretty much pops up instantly too. We'll just throw debugs in here just to keep track of what's going on. So for the on lobby invite, we can actually throw in the underscore Steam ID dot name, and this will show the name of the friend that sent you an invite. Kind of neat. On member leave, again, this one and the other one, member join, it's only going to show up on the host. So on lobby entered, this is when a client or a Steam account actually enters the lobby, and if it is the host, or it is you are the host, we're going to return. We'll do stuff with that later because the host doesn't really need to mess with that. So the on lobby created, this is when you are the host. We'll return the result, and if it's not okay, we'll throw an exception or a debug log, sorry, and we'll just return out of it. If it does work, this is where we can set up our lobby. So we can either do lobby private or lobby public. Lobby private just sets up an invisible lobby. We're just going to set it public because why not? Then we're going to actually make it joinable. There we go. So we'll set that to true. And the next one, we'll talk about the lobby.setData. This takes in a key string and a value string. Helps you set the metadata for the lobbies. Clients that are connecting to it can get that data, like the lobby name, yada yada yada. So we're going to set the game server, and we're going to make it equal to the owner ID. This is the Steam ID of the owner of the lobby. This is how they connect to it. The set game server, when you look up on a friend and you're like right click join game, you'll see join game as opposed to join lobby. I haven't noticed any real difference between the two yet. So we'll go ahead and start the host. Now this is where we'll do the netcode stuff. So this is Unity now. Do an async start host. The int max numbers is going to be how many people we want in the lobby. So for the host, we're going to start the on-server started callback. This just lets us know that we did it correctly. And then we're actually going to start the host using singleton.startHost. Okay, so our current lobby is going to be equal to await Steam matchmaking dot create lobby async. We'll throw in our max members. We'll get rid of this exception and we'll just put in a debug log. Now we can move on to the client, which is going to be a public void start client. And we'll throw in the Steam ID because we need that to connect with. Alright, so here I'm going to throw in the network client side callbacks. So we're going to do network manager singleton on client connected, and we'll throw in the on client disconnected as well. And then we'll take the Facebook transport, give it the target Steam ID, which is the SID that we put in for the function. And we'll check to make sure that it actually went through. And if it doesn't, we won't get this. So we'll go back to lobby entered, and this is as a member, you're joining a lobby. So we're going to start the client, and then we're going to get the current lobby info, the value owner ID, which is the Steam ID of the host, and then that will be how Unity actually connects to the other Unity player. Okay, I'm going to throw this lobby created in here just so you know that the name was created. Then we're going to start another function for disconnecting. We'll do the current lobby, (leave). Alright, so if the network manager singleton doesn't exist, we're just going to get out of here. And so if it is the host, then we need to turn off the single host callback that we have. And if it's the client, then we're going to turn off the client connected callback. For some reason, if we try and turn them all off on the destroy function later on, this one doesn't turn off properly. So we're just going to do it here. Then we're going to shut down the whole thing. We can do that equal to true. And then we'll throw a debug log in there. Disconnect it. So on these two guys, actually on all three of them, we need to go to the onDestroy. And we're going to separate them from the FacePunch callbacks by saying if the network manager doesn't exist. So if it does, we will keep going, and then we're going to take the three callbacks that we created earlier and just go ahead and turn them off. Alright, just to tidy this up, we're going to do a private void on application quit. We'll call the disconnect function. Okay, so back in Unity, let's go ahead and grab our create host, add a click. We'll drag our network manager in here, go game network manager, and we'll do our start host with, let's say, 6 players. Okay, so now with that in there, we can go ahead and give it a test. Start running it. game, we'll create our host. There we go, we got our host started. We got our lobby created under my fake Steam name, and then confirmation that the lobby was actually created. So this here should be from netcode, and the other two are both from Steam. That's through FacePunch. Alright, so simple enough now. We'll get into more depth on the next one. Thanks for watching. If you want to see the next one, I suggest you subscribe so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching.